Welcome to You, Me, Empathy. Thank you for listening. We would like to remind you that this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Known as just a silly boy with a feely heart. Please consider supporting the show. Check us out on Patreon or simply leave a review on iTunes. Here's your host and creator of the show, Known Wells.
Greetings, feely humans. Welcome to You, Me, Empathy. This is episode 51. I chat today with my friend Julia about anxiety, the wild, wild world of anxiety. Something that Julia and I share in common. We both have anxiety. And so we talk a lot about how overwhelming it is and how anxiety can impact self-esteem and really how we can better maybe accept anxiety and maybe relieve it a little bit as well. So we talk a lot about anxiety today. Today we also talk about How Am I Feeling, which is the website, Instagram account, organization, community is a better way to put it, that Julia created a couple of years ago. It's fantastic. It's a safe space for people to share their mental health stories. And so I encourage you to go check it out. Go follow How Am I Feeling on Instagram or go to howamifeeling.org. And you can find all the links there. How Am I Feeling on Instagram is How Am I Feeling with an extra G on the end. So today, anxiety. How does anxiety affect you? For me, it's, I always describe anxiety as being this sort of constantly vacillating worry, fear thing in my head that messes with my sleep, that messes with my self-esteem, that makes me feel not worthy of love, that gets in the way of me maybe saying yes to certain things. It can be problematic. Some days I'm okay with it, and I'm better at dealing with it. Some days I'm not, which is human and okay. And yeah, if you're someone who struggles with anxiety, this is the episode for you. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can connect with it. For me, it's been an anxious week. We had rain and we had roof leaks. We have leaking in our roof, which is hard to deal with. You know, it's something, it's one of those things, it happens is like, you know, this is our first home. We never thought we'd own a home, but we own a home, which is exciting. And I feel very privileged by that. And then something like this happens and you're like, what the hell do I do? You know, it's very new. Thankfully, I have a neighbor that can help me out, but it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. And I was able to get to a place where I recognize that, okay, it's just a thing. We'll fix it. It's fine. You're going to live. You'll be okay. And but I don't know. My anxiety brain just kind of takes over and makes it so much worse. But that's why maybe I need to listen to this episode again. And I hope you connect with it, like I said. Anyways, before we get into the episode, I wanted to just remind you to follow You, Me, Empathy on Instagram and Twitter at You, Me, Empathy. We also have a fantastic Facebook group over at facebook.com/groups/You, Me, Empathy. Go over there and share some stories with a private group of feely humans. Okay? It's good. It's good stuff. And we're on Patreon. It's a place where you can support the show on an ongoing basis for as little as $1 a month. Go to patreon.com/You, Me, Empathy for that. And lastly, please, if you can't support the show financially, that's fine. I love you. A free way to support the show is to leave a rating and review in Google or Apple Podcasts. I'm always reading the ones from iTunes, Apple Podcasts. So go do that. That would be fantastic. I really want to hear how this show's connecting with you, how it's maybe helped you find some insight into your own feelings or what have you. If it's just a good distraction from your day, like I want to hear about it. And if If you want to reach out to me via email, you can do that. I'm always here to listen and to talk, even if it's not on the podcast. I really mean that. So you can email me at youmeempathy@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram. I'll chat with you there as well. Again, that's at youmeempathy on Instagram. Okay, let's get into the show, shall we? Today, as I mentioned, is with my dear friend Julia of How Am I Feeling, about the wild, wild world of anxiety. Enjoy. Welcome to You, Me, Empathy, a podcast about exploring the struggles we face in our day-to-day lives as humans trying to get by on this wondrous and overwhelming pale blue dot. The intent of You, Me, Empathy is to talk openly, without judgment, about our neuroses, our mental illnesses, our shared anxieties and worries, to create a dialogue that is vulnerable and deeply human and empathetic, and to share that dialogue with others to inspire emotional and cognitive collaboration and insight, so we can, hand in hand, break down the stigma that make us feel shame and guilt for struggling, for feeling our feelings, for being human. You, Me, Empathy is a safe, friendly space designed to inspire the beauty in each of us. Today, I'm happy to be venturing on another empathy adventure with fellow normalizer and validator of mental illness, community mental health awareness hero, and How Am I Feeling creator, Julia.
Hello.
Hello.
I like that I'm like a hero, because I don't think I am, but
that I would respond exactly the way you did that just then, because I think in the mental health world there is a lot of that stuff going around.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. It's empowering. It's but you hear words like courageous, you hear words like warrior, you hear words like battle, it's all like sort of rah charge, superhero language, and I think it's fine. I think if it works for you, that's fantastic. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like, as someone who has a lot of self-hate, I'm just like, nope, not a hero.
No, I get thank you messages and I'll screen cap them. Like, I save almost every single message I get.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
Then I have to like go back and read them, like when I feel shitty, and I'm just like, I need to go, like, this is what I'm actually doing.
Sure.
But then, like, most of the time, I'm just like, I am so nervous all the time. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And just, I work on most of this when I'm like in my PJs or something.
Sure.
And somebody will send me a really nice message. This specific thing happened one time where I was like making a scrambled egg, and I'm just in like my workout clothes, messy hair, everything, just woke up and everything. And somebody sent me like a really nice message, and I was just like, oh, this is something somebody would send to someone important. And I was just like, I'm in
someone
my PJs.
Someone in a business suit.
Yeah, no, just like somebody that, like, I don't know, like Elizabeth Gilbert, or like somebody that stature.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm a regular person. Like, I'm literally, one thing I've been saying this entire time since I created the project is I have no idea what I'm doing.
So we're going to delve into that, because I strongly relate to that. But before we do that, so the listeners should know, Julia's here in the studio / bedroom / fart den / office / Scooby breatherator / all the things, and we are recording this a second time.
Yes.
We recorded initially a couple months ago, and we'll get into the reasons why in a moment. But before we do that, I want to do a little check-in.
Yes.
As we always do. How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
I am exhausted because I was up half the night. But so I'm surprised at how calm I am right now. I'm just going to attribute that to like the good playlist that I had on Spotify on my way here.
What's in that playlist?
It's just like, have you ever heard of Casey Neistat?
I don't think so.
He's a vlogger on YouTube.
Okay.
He has really good music. It's like it's called like chill hop or something.
Okay. He makes the music?
No. But like he'll use it in his videos.
Gotcha.
And it kind of like blew up because like it's kind of called like the Casey Neistat music style now.
Yeah.
So I just started looking that up a long time ago. And so now there's like a specialized playlist for that stuff. And it's just, it's perfect.
Nice. Is it instrumental?
Yeah, I'll have to show you it.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to explain it.
Sure.
But
I love that. That's good. Yeah, I like music to pair with mood.
Yeah,
and I
100%.
When I used to back when I remember writing this one really dark story, this piece that I wrote, and I remember listening to the soundtrack to Twin Peaks over and over and over again.
I've been wanting to look up that show, but like I've never.
Have you ever watched any of his stuff? Why am I drawing a blank on the name? Oh my gosh, my nerd cred is going way down the toilet. Oh my god, David. Shit. Fuck, it'll come to me. But it's very creepy. He's got a lot of creepy stuff in a very unique style. But
Ooh.
Twin Peaks, especially Angelo Badalamenti is the composer, and it's really kind of ominous and slow. It's like, it's not like horror, but it's like kind of creepy and eerie, and so I like that type of stuff.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Well, my check-in this week is that I am still moving. If you're wondering about the timeline of these things, I've been recording and putting episodes out very quickly, and then recording and putting episodes out late. So that'll be a fun puzzle for you later. But so we are in the midst of moving and packing, and it's just been very stressful, and it's impacted my tum-tum in heavy ways that I don't want to get into because it's gross. But I've been trying to just take it a day at a time.
That's all you can do.
That's all I can do. And so that's where I'm at. But I am excited about the house. I am excited about, we've essentially moved every 2 years for the past 10 years since we've known each other. Yeah. We've lived in all sorts of places. And so this will be the first time where, fingers crossed, but we will be for a long time, which is exciting. So, and actually our own. We've always rented, so it's exciting. I'm pretty excited.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to create the new podcasting space.
Ooh, I'll have to come by and look at it.
Yeah. So, Julia.
Yes.
Let's get into what you were talking about just a moment ago in terms of you get these messages. So actually, let's back up. You have this community. Let's set the scene on what you do and what How Am I Feeling is.
Yes. So actually, do you want to start off with why we're recording this a second time? Because I feel like it'll lead into
that sounds great.
So yeah, how long ago did we record it? A couple months ago.
A couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to re-record is because I realized, I got to this point where I realized that I rehearsed so much of the conversation in my head before it even happened. Before even this interview was going to be a thing, I don't even know, most of the project, I'm like, oh, I have to be ready if somebody ever wants to interview me. And so I would just repeat the same lines in my head over and over again.
Yeah.
And so then when we recorded, I started thinking about it, and I was just like, I didn't feel authentic or that I was actually there. It was just me reciting what I had planned in my head because I'm anxious and that's what I do.
Yeah. That's totally understandable. I do that too.
Yeah.
And a part of that, there's a fine balance there because there's a part of that practice that is visualization, right? Where you kind of visual, I used to do it when I played soccer. I'd visualize the game and how it would go and stuff. And that's a great mental technique.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is what you're talking about, which is stemming from this anxiety, and then it puts you in a place where you are kind of reciting. And I do the same. I think we all do.
It's hard not to, especially when you're anxious and it's a new experience.
Totally.
This is counting the thing like, this is my third time recording something, like, with my voice as somebody who's only written stuff and over the most of my life. And so I was just like, oh, I'm doing good. Like, I got to prepare for this. Like, it's going to happen at some point. But then it ended up just feeling like I was tense and I was so nervous, and I was just like, oh, I'm just repeating the same information that's like, it doesn't really match up with where it's at where the project is at right now, or where I'm at.
Sure.
Which leads into the next point is the project kind of evolves as I evolve.
Yeah.
And the more I become comfortable with, like, not only my own mental health, but like who I am as a person, because that was always like a huge missing piece, was like, I didn't feel comfortable with anything.
Right.
And so the project eventually first began as like a mental health or mental illness awareness thing.
Yeah.
And then over time it became more broad into like general mental health. And now the focus is more on just like connecting people through experiences and emotions and thoughts. Since, that's the stuff we usually keep quiet, or the more we share about those things, the more we see that we have in common with each other. So, yeah.
And so your project is called How Am I Feeling, and it's at howamifeeling.org.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And it's fantastic, and you guys should go follow Julia.
We just hit 19K.
Nice, on Instagram.
Which was actually an issue that I had to bring up in therapy the other day.
Oh, really?
Because, again, it goes back to being nervous, and like, I feel like I'm just a regular person that's been given this audience somehow.
Sure. There's a pressure to like, I gotta like entertain 19,000 people.
And it like I realized today it doesn't do well for like my people pleaser traits, where I'm just like scrambling, like, how do I do this? Why do people keep following? Like, it's just weird. It's a mess. But
that's so interesting, and I can very much relate. So make sure you guys follow How Am I Feeling on Instagram.
There's 2 G's at the end.
2 G's at the end. All the links will be in the show notes. But let's go back to this transformation that the community is experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Initially, it started off as, more singularly focused on like mental illness awareness. Now it's at a place where it's more about connecting around these sort of larger human experiences. And that's a reflection of where you're at?
Exactly.
What do you mean by that?
I guess because before I was strictly seeing things through like kind of like a psychology textbook way of living, and like, analyzing and categorizing and, just BFFs with Freud and like Carl Jung and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and so just like, oh, I need to go compartmentalize things in my life and like organize it into like little categories that make sense and diagnoses and everything. And now it's more like, how can I broaden this to just feel more like a human being? And then how can I connect to those human traits within my own life and then within the project?
Right.
And then allow people to do that within their own lives, and like, domino effect.
I see. Yeah. No, I've noticed and I've appreciated the shift myself, because I do think there's more of an opening there for people. I do think sometimes strictly the mental illness door can maybe be a little scary, or like, how do I get in? Or, but the broader human experience door, we can all find a way in through that.
Exactly. And specifically for my own mental health, like when I would think of the illness part, I would think of like focusing on talking about what's wrong, or like what's wrong in my life, because the art that I do, like my own personal art, will be focused on like what I'm going through. And so my therapist was like, oh, you need to start focusing on like lighter terms and like creating. And so I'm trying to do that, but it's so hard because the other stuff has been like, what I'm used to. And it has, I put it this way, where I don't know if it makes sense to anybody but me, but like the negative stuff, and not necessarily negative, but just not the happy-go-lucky stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it has more texture to like kind of grasp onto, and it's just like more layered and not, I guess, interesting to like pick apart and,
I hear you.
And draw and stuff. And
it's more artistic.
Yeah, because she was like, what she's like, do you draw anything happy? And I was just like, oh, I just kind of like, if I'm ever feeling happy, I just kind of sit in it because I know my nervous system needs it. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit and like absorb it like a sponge. And she's like, well, why don't you try drawing it? And I'm just like, I don't know how to do that. So,
well, through practice.
Yeah. I'm just like happy, like stereotypical, like emoji happy. Like, I don't, yeah.
I mean, I think that I think a lot of us can relate to this. I think that the happy person or the happy disposition or the happy Instagram account, it is hard to connect with that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that myself. Like I do want to share I do want to be vulnerable because that's what You Me Empathy is about. And I do want to share with my community that I'm struggling in this certain way and that allows them to relate. But I do think there needs to be a balance, right?
Exactly. That's the hard part.
It is the hard part because there is like this weird, maybe it's coming from a cynical place in myself. Maybe it's coming from like a self-hate place or something. But like sometimes when I see the quote unquote, like overly happy, and this is just me judging, straight up judging. Yeah. I cringe and it makes me upset. Yeah, okay. Can you relate to that?
Okay. So I actually Googled, I was just like, I started Googling out because there were some account, I don't remember what I looked at, but I like started Googling. I was just like, why do I get so mad at overly happy people? Or why do I get irritated? Why do I not believe? I forgot the exact phrase, but it was something along those lines of like, why do I have this disdain for them? And I can't even remember what it said, but I think part of it was just like that it seems, I want to say disingenuous or like something because it's just like you can't maintain that constant high state. And it's just like, where, like, I don't know. For me personally, it feels like they're just lacking. I mean, you know, they're probably not lacking this. They just, you know, people share what they want on social media.
It's our insecurity.
Yeah, and it's also that, like, I want to see the whole picture of somebody. Because that's what clicks in my head, that they're an actual person, which makes me feel validated to be an actual person, which is something I've struggled with. So it's like when I see the whole picture of somebody, the happy, the sad, the angry, you know, all of it, then I feel better about, you know, expressing my own stuff. So then when I see only the happy, I'm just like, yeah, but what about the other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, there's one side of this conversation that is about how we as humans just curate our lives and present the sort of the best moments and the brightest moments, right?
Yeah.
And that serves a purpose. And I think I can only speak for me, but when I feel like cringy toward that, or when I feel like fuck them or whatever toward that, it's coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of like self-hate or whatever, because I don't know what they're going through and whatever, but the larger like lesson I would like apply toward myself and you is we can't compare.
No.
Like it's so easy to fall into that comparing thing, and then it just makes our lives miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially, oh my God, one thing I wish I could hide on Instagram is the explore page, because I'll fall down that rabbit hole of just like all those accounts and everything, and I'm stuck comparing, and I'm just like, God damn it, why did I do this?
Yeah. Do you ever get this, and this maybe stems part of this conversation, where someone, it's like, they make a comment on your post, and it's like, you know, check out my business profile.
I knew you were going to say
like,
that.
You know, it's great. And then I do, because I'm curious. I'm a curious person. And it's like a mixture of like hyper, like aggressive, like entrepreneurial stuff. And then like, you know, happiness and mental health. It's just like this weird, it's almost like if you told like the Instagram, like robot, like algorithm, like here are all the things that like get the most likes. And then it
turns it into
like
a comment.
poops out this like Instagram account. That's kind of what it would be.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get those.
Yeah, I get some of those. And I know I can't control the internet, but I control.
The internet controls us.
I mean, yeah. I try to control as much as I can within the community because I want it to adhere to like a strict, like safe kind of space.
Yeah.
So like I get really mad when those comments pop up because I feel like they're not first of all, obviously they're not reading the post, which like
Right.
most of the stuff that gets posted is like, it's really deep and personal.
Right.
And I feel like they're I treat it like it's like a face-to-face conversation. And I feel like they're being rude in a way because it's like you're not honoring what they posted and like you're being a dick.
It's almost like they just want to get their name on threads, so like someone may click on them and then follow them.
No, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And like I've gotten a lot more since the account has grown, and I'm still like as angry. Like I've been this way since it started, where it's like respect what the person posted, like especially given the context of this, like the subject matter.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't do that. Just read before you post. And like I know some accounts use like bots and stuff to do that. And,
Right, I know.
but like the ones that don't, I'm just like, this isn't the place for that. And like, I know I act like I can control all the stuff on there, but it's just, I mean, I try best as I can because I want the community to stay a certain way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Talk to me about the transition you've come to and how, like, because I've noticed you sharing a little bit more personal stuff on the feed. How has that been for you?
Uncomfortable. But like it's like I have to wait until a perfect storm of events like in my head where like the stars line up and like I feel confident enough to do it. And most of the time when I do, it's just that like I have to get this out just because it is what it is. And it's not like I don't really plan it beforehand. I'm just like, this feels like something I need to share. But a lot of the times I've actually hidden a lot of the stuff that I posted in the past because I think on a past post I even said like, hopefully I don't delete this or hide it or something, which I ended up doing, which I had a feeling I'd end up doing.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'll post something in the moment where I'm feeling confident to post it, and then I'll go back and I'll look at it and then I'll cringe and be like, oh, that was too much. And so then it's like, practicing not cringing. But
what is it, because you shared more than you're comfortable with? Is that why it makes you cringe, or because it reflects a you in the past?
I kind of both, but also I think because my frame of mind changes so much because of just like my own whatever I'm going through. So then like, it's not consistent on a regular basis where I'll feel comfortable sharing stuff. And also I'm very much more comfortable sharing on like a face-to-face, like one-on-one kind of thing. So then when you have an audience full of like strangers and like, then it's just like, oh God, why did I do that? And especially when it comes to this stuff, I get nervous when there's people I know in person that follow it, because it's like, oh, we don't have that kind of relationship where I can talk to you personally about that stuff, but you read it on my thing, and now it's like a weird, like, are we close? Are we not? And so it's like, I feel like it also kind of in a way confuses my ability to navigate personal relationships with the people like that I do see face to face or that I know in real life. Unless it's like my inner circle, then like they know everything.
Yeah.
But it's just, it goes back to like being super introverted kind of person, doesn't talk about anything, to like, here's almost 20,000 people.
Right.
And I'm like, what is why did I do this to myself?
But is there a part of you that can get to a place where you just say, well, I mean, they are strangers and they're there because they care about my community and they care about what I'm doing for my community. And, I'm never going to meet 99% of these people in person. So is there a part of you that can maybe get to that point?
That's kind of my homework for therapy. She was like, I don't think you know how to, not appreciate, like, you don't know how to handle success, or like, you don't know what to do with it. And so you get nervous, and I'm like, I'm like huge self-saboteur, and
Saboteur.
Okay,
Yeah, that
I
was
got that
you were right the first time.
Okay. And, because it's like it feels like I'm like not walking on eggshells, but like if I were to try and stand on a surfboard in a pool and try to balance, like I definitely wouldn't be able to. Like I would just fall over. And so it feels like that when I'm succeeding at something. So I'm like, eventually I'm going to fall off. And so it's just.
And do you think you fall or feel like you fall because of the insecurity, anxiety, lack of self-confidence, these things?
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, at least I can acknowledge that now. And so that's something I couldn't do before.
That's huge.
Yeah. So now it's just, building up from that.
You were just saying that you're human, like all of us.
Yeah.
We all struggle with that stuff.
Yeah. It's getting to that point where I understand that and kind of like appreciate it more than fear it. And I think that's what always attracted me to these kind of projects. Like I really loved Post Secret. And then there was another project when I was a teenager called Found Magazine. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
It's just like, I guess I haven't looked at it in a long time, but it's like all these notes that just would be like somebody's grocery list that just accidentally got left somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it's like little notes that people accidentally leave places and whatnot. So it's like they put it up on their website. And so it's like those kind of projects that just like focus on humanity in creative ways have been my like forefront obsession for most of my life.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not surprised I'm in this position of having a similar thing. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I didn't prepare myself for, behind the scenes or what it means to do it. When I started this, I was in a different place where I was just like, I need to do this. Like there was no thinking about it. And now
it was a compulsion.
Exactly. And there was like that for a long time. And so I didn't really think about it. And now I guess I'm to a point where it's like I've mellowed out more. And so now I have time to like, or the ability to process it. And I'm just like,
were you in therapy when you started it?
I think I was just starting with, I mean, I wasn't like super into it, but I started therapy around that time.
Here's a thought I have, because I relate to a lot of what you say and a lot of your experiences emotionally. When I sort of started therapy and even before that, when I started, when I was struggling with my eating disorder and I was realizing that I was lacking control in areas and I had to really let go of a lot of that control and then really start looking inward.
Yeah.
There was a period of a number of years where it was really scary. And it was a lot of stumbling. It was a lot of just fucking up and not even sure what to do, and a lot of just like questioning myself and my motives.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of like the process and the journey of like developing emotional intelligence.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Because you don't know how to do it at first, and it takes a lot of time. I'm not saying I'm done with that. Like
nobody's done with that.
That will always be a thing. But when you first like make the decision to say, this is my reality, I'm going to talk to a therapist and be like honest about like my experiences and look at what I'm doing and not have it be less of a compulsion and more of like a concerted like, okay, what is this about? And, just because you're shifting these things, you're shifting the project in different ways. And so I think that seems totally normal to me is what I'm saying.
Okay, good.
No, it seems like totally natural.
Yeah. It's
like
just,
you're struggling in ways that are superhuman.
Yeah. And I think just being okay with that has been this most recent shift, I guess. Because I realize when I'll get like a strong compulsion or like need to do something with the project, and then I realize like, oh, it's probably something within me, and then instead of like rushing to take it out on the project to like use that to control whatever is within me, I'll sit with it and then be like, okay, let me see how I'm feeling first and then do the project second, when before it used to be, how can I control the project first? And then, I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, because, we'll control things that are outside of us when we can't control internally.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to slow down that process where I control the internal first and then the external. Because if I would have kept that same routine, then I would have deleted the project multiple times before.
Yeah.
But
well, it should come from you first. Yeah, that makes sense to me. How has the response been with like your more personal stuff?
people have liked it. I was telling my therapist this, that like people love it. And then, I actually made a post about this recently.
Are you surprised by that?
I don't know. Like, do
you question it? Do you feel like it's legitimate?
No, I mean, on one hand, I don't try to base it on the reactions I get because I'm mainly doing it for myself most of the time to make myself laugh, or like if I have a picture in my head and I get it out, and it's more of like, how can I get this picture out of my head onto the paper or the screen or whatever, and how can I make it better than what I've done in the past. So it's like more focused on like my progression as an artist. But it's weird. The most recent one I did was, I think it was the most recent one, where it was like saying how people in my life will love the artwork, but then it's like, since so much of it is kind of based on like the uncomfortable feelings and stuff, it's like kind of, I feel like there's kind of a disconnect between them loving the art and not attributing it to like, oh, I'm a person actually feeling this way. But it's mostly like when that happens, it's usually to people that I don't open up about this stuff to. And so I think there is that disconnect. Because when I show my friends, they'll love it, but they also know like that I'm going through a bunch of shit all the time, constantly. So it's like I get their, or I trust their reaction more. But yeah, that was my most recent illustration, was just about that like weird, like, oh, I love it, you're so good, you're so talented, and it's like, oh, but it's about depression and, you know, feeling sad or something, and it's like they'll be laughing, and it's just like, why, what is, I don't know how to make sense of your reaction to this. Like,
well, you know, I'm personally someone who thinks most things are absurd. Life is absurd in a lot of ways.
100%.
And that's not to like discount, you know, the very serious things that we go through. But if we can't laugh at stuff, like, I feel like I would have a hard time. Because laugh, like, I've talked about this a lot on the Yumi Empathy feed. Like, I like to laugh, and I personally like to be exceptionally silly and just like absurd and silly, and sort of embrace my silliness because it gives me levity in the darker times. Even like I don't have to be experiencing a darkness during that period of time when I'm doing those silly things, but it helps. It's like it almost like it carries over a little bit into those darker periods, and it brings me a little bit of hope, or
I think I need to do that.
levity. I mean, I'm not saying you need to do that.
No, yeah,
I'm just saying that, like, the reactions, those are positive. Those are positive reactions.
Yeah, I think I'm just like, I don't, I mean, because I don't know, it's just.
What reaction, so with that last example, what is the perfect reaction to that in your mind?
I don't know. I think it's just the people, like, okay, so let me backtrack. So I took my notebook to a family thing because I don't socialize at family things. I'll make my rounds at first, and then I'll go sit and draw or read or whatever, because it gets overwhelming, and so I'll just go sit by myself. So the last time I think it was the last time I was at a family thing, and so I let like multiple people look at my notebook at once. And I guess it's just like I can handle, again, back to just I'm better at one-on-one. Like I guess I feel more comfortable just showing one person at a time rather than like multiple people, because then it's just, I don't know, my brain gets overwhelmed so easily.
I feel the same. Yeah, we're introverts, so that's a common experience.
And so I think when it was multiple people giggling and laughing at how much they loved it and stuff, I think it's just like I didn't know, I don't know, it just like my wires just fry.
So interesting, because I'm the same way as you are in real life.
Yeah.
One-on-one is great. I can do that great.
Yeah.
I don't do well at like big events and parties and stuff. And I'm usually the one, in the corner talking about whatever, with one person.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
But when it comes to the internet, being online, social media, I feel like a little bit more protected. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I have there is a barrier there for me that I can be a bit more, I can let a little bit more of that go.
Yeah, just be more open with people, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just practice.
Well, I mean, it's the same reason people get on fights or get in fights on the internet, and
sure,
because there isn't that person.
Yeah.
In
Are
front
you calling
of
me a troll?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's true, because there is this you feel empowered, right? You feel like you have a lot of power, and I feel like that sort of barrier protection layer thing.
Yeah, I know at one point how I do this to myself so often, where because I do need to watch what I do share, just for my I don't want to share anything I haven't already worked through or mentioned in therapy, because then suddenly I'm trying to work through it with a 20,000 people audience.
Yeah,
and so
that's fair.
Yeah, so I'd
Totally
rather wait until I've figured that out before posting it. So I have to be careful. And I forgot what my point was going to be.
That's okay. I was going to ask, what are you working on right now in therapy? You don't have to get into specifics, but just some broad strokes.
Basically, self-esteem stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of stuff that I thought I had conquered, or I had buried, and now it's coming up because I'm in a better place where I can handle it. That's been an ongoing theme with whatever I'm going through, is just stuff constantly coming up. The more this is one thing that I've been thinking about lately, is people will talk about how they'll go to therapy or be taking care of themselves, and then and then something bad happens, or they have a really bad day, or memory flashbacks come up and stuff. And I realized that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's because you're more those things. I've had so many conversations about this where that stuff will come up from your past because you're in a better, even though it may not feel like it, but you're in a better place to be able to handle it. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily you're doing anything wrong. You're actually doing something right, because now it's coming up and it can be processed and talked about.
Sure.
So I'm basically doing a bunch of that and rewiring my brain to not be so sad all the time and nervous and everything.
No, is it just talk therapy you're in?
Yeah, right now. I've wanted to explore more, but I also don't know. There was this woman that I would see, because I'd go to a what is it called? Oh my
Psychic.
God. No, I'm scared to do that.
Really?
I'm scared.
I've always wanted to try. I've never done it myself.
I'm scared to do it because I just used to.
Why are you scared? Because you feel like it's going to be a horror film or something?
No, I mean, half I feel like it's going to be a scam. I feel like it's going to be a scam, but also that I know I've been so gullible to believe those kinds of things in the past that I'm I don't want that vulnerable part of my brain that I haven't dealt with yet to latch onto that.
Totally, that
so
makes
I'm
sense.
I don't. Yeah. I'm I got it. Same thing with horoscopes. I used to rely on horoscopes like it was life or death. Okay. And so now when one of my best friends, she's super into astrology now, and I'm just get it away from me.
Sure.
Some of the stuff she showed me does make sense. But I mean, when it comes to horoscope stuff, I'm just this is absolute bullshit. That is somebody's job to sit there and write that. And so I have to keep telling myself that so I don't go back to that place of what's my life going to be like today? Can I trust that it's going to be a good day? Because that's where my mind would go. Yeah. Because I couldn't predict those things back then. So it's an old habit that I have to keep track of.
Gotcha. Sorry, I took us down.
No, it's okay. What was I going to say? Oh, the isolation tanks.
Oh, yeah,
so I did those a few times, and I became kind of friends with the owner of it. And so she does this thing where she'll.
I thought you were going to say I became friends with an isolation tank. That would have been sweet.
Yeah, we're BFFs. But she told me she does some she's some kind of not life coach. I hate the term life coach. Sorry to anybody that is, but it's just I can't.
It seems so. I mean, I don't have any or like for that term, but it does seem so big.
Yeah.
Life is so big. How can you be a coach of life?
I know. I mean, I feel like nobody knows what they're doing ever. Nobody knows anything. Like, we say we do, but like no.
Yeah.
As somebody that used to think that like nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
But she's like she does some kind of like holistic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would do she never did it to me, but she told me she does some kind of like hypnosis type thing. So I've been curious about that, but I'm also afraid of that.
Sure.
Because it's like I know what lies in my brain. Like I know we technically don't know a lot, but like I know a good amount of like what I haven't worked through yet, and I'm afraid of that coming up and not being able to deal with it. The same thing, I got recommended to do EMDR, and so which funny enough, my second therapist I ever saw didn't trust her at all. I saw her twice. She spent most of the time talking about herself, kept recommending that I do swing dancing, and then like wouldn't listen to me about anything. And then the second session, she's like, we're going to try EMDR. And so I just kind of played along with it. And I was just like, I'm all better. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
But then
doesn't seem like the right choice for you or anyone. Probably.
No. And so after that, like I was like, I cannot allow another medical professional or to like, I can't trust anybody to get into that space in my brain.
Yeah.
Because it's such fragile territory that I'm like, I don't trust anybody else to do the work except me, which like, obviously we have to do the work anyways in order to heal. But like, I don't trust anybody to like, I don't want anybody touching that except me.
It's like having just one Horcrux versus like many you have to deal with. Like, let's just keep it to one and it's a lot more manageable. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Like I don't want to rely on somebody else to give me, or I don't want to. Okay.
You're in a very vulnerable space and you're fragile, as you mentioned. And it makes total sense to me to want to like, okay, I trust my therapist. I'm going to work on stuff with her. But if you start like going elsewhere and then it gets like muddled or like maybe you hear something different or like then becomes like.
That's what I was going to say is that like I don't want to think that they have the answers to something that I experienced firsthand because they're not going like I can go to them and be like, hey, I'm experiencing this and this if I get confused, but I'm gonna sit with the problem long enough for me to feel like a light bulb goes off and I see the whole picture before I go tell them about it because it's like I don't want to take in their interpretation as like what is actually going on. Because I've worked through so much more like learning to trust myself. Yeah. And they're just kind of like helping me along rather than like giving me answers of what I should like what they think is happening. I don't know.
Yeah. How does your anxiety play into your self-esteem?
Oh boy. I think it just makes me nervous to do anything and expect the worst and that I'm like not prepared for anything or that it's just like always going to be a worst case scenario kind of thing. And then, it like spirals down into like, should I even try it? Should I even do it? Like, what's the point? And like, so it's just being pushed down the staircase. Like,
have you been able to develop some sense of self-esteem and confidence in how am I feeling? Because let me just say this. It's a great community and it's something you should be proud of that you've created and fostered for people.
I don't think it's like soaked in.
Are you going to take that compliment?
I'm
because you've done it. It's great and it's fantastic. And you should be proud.
Yeah, I think, again, it goes back to what my therapist said, where it's like, I don't know how to handle success. And especially when I feel like success should, I'll be blunt about this. I don't get paid to do this project. Like, whatever I make from the shop or anything goes back into, like, website hosting and, like, being able to expand and everything. But I don't make a lot. And so when I think of success, it's like obviously connected to money, especially if I talk about it to people who are outside of the project and like, don't understand why I'm doing it and everything. So then I think that's where a lot of like, I just don't feel confident in it because it's like, oh, this isn't something I'm getting paid to do. But at the same time,
it
like,
feels less like it's gonna last or less real or something.
Or
Because,
like,
or
like, why are you spending so much time on it? But like at the same time, I'll be overloaded with like 30 ideas of like it allows me to create, which like if I don't create stuff, I go insane. I get really sad, and like because this past semester, summer school, I went to class 4 days a week for 2 hours, and even though it was only 2 hour class, I was like studying in between and like thinking about what I needed to memorize for the test and everything. So it's like I didn't have time to create stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just like my health goes down so fast if I can't draw, if I can't just let my mind wander, which is why I can never do like an academic thing because it's just too much. But I forgot the tangent I was going on. But yeah, it's just a mess. Yeah, that's your phone.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Super annoying. No, I get it. So creating stuff, being artistic is a huge part of your mental health.
Yeah, big time. And it's funny because when I, like, obviously the project is based on art. I didn't even, I love that this project helped me get to this point where I can make art and I make art that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because before, I'd paint and stuff and, like, I did cake decorating, but it's like there was some element missing to those things. Like I got really good at cake decorating, but I didn't feel an emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
And then even this past week, I was going to get into doing like DIY stuff and like making like little terrariums and like selling them and stuff. But then I fell down the same rabbit hole of like, I don't feel emotionally connected or energized by this.
Sure.
So the project was a huge step into like allowing me to create my own work, which then makes my mental health better and keeps me sane. But it's insane that like I started this thing based on art and I didn't even do my own art. And then I'm like, I give them all the credit for like somehow getting me into this place because I was in a stats class. I was in a stats summer class when I started doodling about my anxiety. And then I ended up dropping the class and then spent like the rest of that summer just drawing. And so now I'm like on my third notebook full of sketches.
That's wonderful. It's a huge part of your mental health and your growth and just your like it's I've been using this term a lot lately, but it's a mirror for you. Like it allows you to look inward.
100%.
Which is fantastic. We all need those mediums and things and activities.
Yeah, I didn't have that before. And I didn't, like, when I would make art and stuff, it would always be, like, kind of like is this okay looking? Like, you know, you'd be kind of iffy about it. And, like, some of my friends deal with the same thing because they're, like, starting to do art stuff, too. And I'm just, like, I don't know how to explain that, like, you need that kind of mirror aspect or something. Like, I don't know. I needed that emotional connection to, like, drawing about my life in order for me to feel connected to it. And
totally.
It sparked something because I'm, you know, constantly working on that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, like, what... I think I asked this last time we recorded, but I'm curious about, like, what... Do you want to monetize this How Am I Feeling at some point? And it being a thing that you could just do full-time?
I've had mixed feelings about that because... while it's great on one hand, on the other, I feel like if I focus so much on mental health, I kind of lose, like, I get really bad tunnel vision when I work on stuff, and it becomes the only single thing that I, like, do, and then that kind of screws me over mentally, which is ironic for a mental health project.
Sure.
So I think if I could do it more often while balancing some other thing, like, I'm kind of doing that now, but, like, I don't know. I'd love to be able to not be in school.
Well, it sounds like you're just not there yet. If that's going to happen, you're not there yet. You have to work on some things with your therapist and your own mental health that would allow you to do it in a way that you're creating, you know, safe boundaries and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing with the project is that, like, if I want it to do something, if I want to make something or whatever, and I'm having an issue getting to that point, the issue is within me. And it's like the project in itself, I guess, because it came from such a personal place that it acts like a mirror too, like the same way my art does.
Yeah.
Where it's like if I want to accomplish something with it, but I'm like uncomfortable with it. It's like, oh, that's where I need to go next in therapy. And yeah, that's why it's not monetized mostly, is because I have so many issues with money and like success and like, self-esteem and all that stuff. And I know that stuff will have to be resolved and before I figure out some way to do it. But I'd love to be able to do some, I don't know, like I'm glad that like we met through it, and like I like being able to work with other local creators and stuff like that. It's just the whole, like, I know I'm just in my own way, and like, but that's part of the journey, and then also it feeds back into the project,
right?
So it's like a weird little like ecosystem.
But you're growing, like you're growing, and that ecosystem will change, and it will like it will give the project things and different things as it's growing, and you different things
exactly.
as it's growing. And,
it's a literal little like mental health ecosystem.
Yeah, totally.
Where it's like, I mean, it's kind of common sense at this point to know that like we're connected to everything, or like, body, mind, environment, everything. But like I feel like that's really hit home with creating this project, where it's just like neon lights, like everything is connected. Like I'm just like, holy crap. Yeah.
Does it help you to look at the world that way?
That everything's connected? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to some extent. At least with my own personal stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
It helps me too. It allows me to remember that we're all the same humans, and that I make an impact on this planet, and it instills humility and care and compassion. I think so. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of these things that we're talking about, we can all relate to, like being passionate about a thing, and then that thing sort of taking over our lives in some way. And it's interesting, the interplay between like how passionate we are about a thing, but then how it overwhelms us, or how it becomes a stressor in our lives.
Yep.
So I'm grateful, and I'm excited to hear that you are working on that in therapy, because I've worked on it in therapy with You Me Empathy.
Yeah.
Because you do have to create boundaries for these things.
Oh, 100%.
But like, it's so like, I so get the thing where you're like, I mean, obviously my thing is like, in terms of audience, is much smaller, but you still feel responsible, right? You still like, you're like curating this community of like people that are similar to yourself, and you don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when the creator of that person, the project, is someone like you or me, who's introverted, who has self-esteem issues, who sometimes lacks self-confidence, who has anxiety, that could be a hard thing to balance.
Oh yeah, it's most of the time, because I mean, it just hit 19K, and so I'm just like, a lot of the time I'm like, oh, what would another account, like if I was following, like I'll try to see myself as a follower of the account, like just to get some, different perspective. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, okay, if I was following this account, what would I want to see from them? And then half the time I'm like, I have no idea. And then the other half I'm just like, do I have the energy to do something? But then my therapist kept telling me, she's like, keep it, because a lot of what I do is usually comes from like a personal experience I had, or something I noticed, or something I discussed with friends or something. Yeah. So she was just like, just keep it focused on you, and like, for it to fulfill something for you, and in turn it'll help other people.
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it just like, you start thinking about all of these 19,000 people, and then it just becomes way too much.
Exactly. And it's just like, then you're more focused on like, how can you fix things for every single person?
And you're never going to please everyone.
No.
Like we get too caught up in like, I'm not saying you do, but like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, like I got a certain amount of followers, and then like, it drops 5 followers. I'm like, what the hell? What the fuck? Curse those people. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But like, like you're like, oh, that's interesting. And it's just a good reminder for myself to say like, I'm just going to put out stuff that I care about. And if people care about it too, that's great. And I think that I'm going to try to hold on to as long as I can, because I just can't get too far out there. And you're right. Like, you can't like start like fixing things for people and like, oh, what does this person want? I got to serve up that content. What is it like? It's just like, it's impossible.
That's what I
make
used
ourselves
to
crazy.
do. That's what I used to do when it was a lot smaller. I'd go through the like mental health hashtag and I'd read through people's posts and it's like, okay, what can I do to help this person? What can I help to do? Like, I'd get ideas and it would help me brainstorm. But now with the bigger audience that I have, when I do that, it stresses me out because then it's like, oh, like I need to stop that pattern,
right?
Because like, I can't cater to every single person. I have to. That's part of why I made it more general, so then I could just cover broad subjects rather than like each specific thing. And like, I try to focus on like what I find interesting. Like I just did an interview with somebody who runs a project, like super interesting project about like sex and like all those conversations. And then another one about imposter syndrome. And so it's like, I try to I take note of like what excites me to talk to people about. So I try to stick to that. But at the same time, there's still that voice in the back of my head that's just like, you're not doing enough. You're not covering enough topics. Like, because I feel obligated to cover everything because it's such a wide audience. And so it's like, I know I have the platform to like actually do some good change and like all that stuff. But then at the same time, I'm only one person.
And you're not getting paid. And,
exactly.
You know, you just have to self-compassion.
Yeah.
I was reminded of self-compassion this week because I've been going to a yoga therapist.
Oh yeah.
I have like a few more sessions. Her name's Sherry, and she's fantastic. But it's been hectic, as I mentioned, and my yoga practice at home has just been like non-existent. And I was feeling, I was having self-shame and just like, I'm the worst, and she reminded me like, you know what? Ebbs and flows. Like that's what life is. Show some compassion toward yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I just told a friend recently, I said, there's times for change and there's times for rest.
Totally. Yeah, that's great.
So it's hard to like because it ebbs and flows between the two. And so it's hard to like allow yourself that space to go back and forth. Because I know 99% of the time I'm just like, I gotta keep going. Because it's like, I don't want to slow down.
Yeah.
Because on those days that I do slow down, unless my body physically can't move, like I just passed out for like 2 hours yesterday because I was so tired. Because I've just been working on stuff nonstop. And so I know it takes a toll. And like this, again, goes back to the whole like allowing yourself to be a human thing, because I'm trying to keep up with like a stamina that I used to have, where I would just keep pumping out stuff and not take care of myself.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I can't keep doing that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to say about like finding meditative states.
Yeah.
And especially in mental health. Like I've just like finding 5 minutes to sit and focus on your breathing is like huge. And it especially, you hear about this and everyone talks about, but we're dealing in social media and we're dealing in the world of social media and the pressures of that, and those stressors and the technology and all that stuff. Like we need to like step back from time to time. Otherwise we're just going to keep going. We're just going to burn ourselves out and it's going to be ugly.
Exactly. And somewhere in my whole workaholicism that I've been dealing with, like I started a second project.
I saw that.
And like, I really like it. I really like the premise, but sometimes like I haven't been updating it as much because I'm just like, why did I do this to myself? But it was like such a cool idea that I had that I'm just like, I can't not do this. But now I'm just like, probably shouldn't have done that. But it's like, I love creating things.
Right.
And it's like, I wish I had like octopus arms so I could just be working on like 20 things at once. But it does take its toll.
Do you talk about that workaholic stuff with your therapist?
I probably should. Like, I don't know if I have, because okay, funny thing, the therapist that I see now, she was my positive psychology professor.
Oh, cool.
But she's actually a human sexuality teacher.
Okay.
And an actual sexologist, which I didn't know was a thing.
Wow, I didn't know it was a thing either.
Yeah,
she studies sex? Okay.
So
So she just watches a bunch of porn?
No, I don't know what she... No. so I had a positive psychology class. Our professor ended up leaving, I think like like 3/4 of the way through the semester.
Mm-hmm.
So then this current teacher came in, and then she ended up saying she's a therapist. So after that semester ended, I was just like, hey, you want to be my therapist? And
Okay,
so
nice.
now I've been seeing her. So it's,
That's good.
yeah. So I'm like, I feel confident she'll help me with the relationship side of things.
Uh-huh.
But the more general stuff, I haven't worked, like I've only seen her twice.
Okay.
And so it's like,
very new.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't, like, I'm sure she.
So you have a lot of exciting stuff in your future with your therapist.
But like I've been seeing my other one for 4 years. But it's like, you hit like kind of a plateau after so long, or like I've changed places emotionally, mentally so many times that like when I go back to him, I feel like I'm just in a stale place.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's just been the same, Like I'm super comfortable with him, but I don't really talk about the stuff that I need to, especially because I have issues with guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like hard for me to get to that emotional place with him.
I have issues with guys too.
Yeah. I mean, we relate on a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And so like he's super nice and everything. Like, I've been seeing him for a long time, and like he'll draw me pictures, he'll make me laugh, use fun analogies. I love analogies and pictures and everything.
Okay.
But
is he Patch Adams?
basically. Yeah, he's really funny. But like I can't connect emotionally, but that was like my premise for seeing a male therapist, was to work through that stuff. And now I'm realizing, it's a way bigger issue than I thought. And like I can't get to that place. So I'm like changing gears, which is why I started seeing my current one.
That's good. I mean, that's good that you recognize that.
Yeah.
You made that decision. That's hard. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Like I at first I was just like, I'm going to stop seeing him completely. And then that kind of like made me anxious and like feel weird. So I'm just like, no, I'll just see him whenever I need to see. Like I go back and forth between the two.
Right.
Which is, I used to do the same thing with Talkspace, where like I used their app for a while, and then it helped me open up more in face-to-face therapy. Like there's no one route to, like, especially the traditional route that's just like, just go to therapy and you'll be fixed. Like you gotta like play with it and like customize it and just do
everyone's
stuff
different. It's and that makes sense, but it's also the part that is the obstacle for people in getting the help they need, you know, because it is complex and nuanced, and it is maybe overwhelming because, like, finding the right therapist is like finding like a right friend, right? Like they have to be a good
or even
fit,
significant other, like,
or significant other.
I forgot who, or if I don't know where I heard this, but it was like finding a therapist is like dating.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's difficult.
Yeah. I first started therapy when I was 18, and so I like plateaued pretty quickly with that therapist, and then I stopped therapy altogether until I was 24, saw that one twice, and then gave up again. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you just kind of have to keep going, and like kind of after those shitty experiences, like pivot and like narrow down what you're looking for, and then go try that, and then hopefully not fail at it, but if you do, then just pivot again, and like Yeah.
No, you just have to keep at it until you find what works for you. Let's as we sort of wind down here a little bit, let's talk a little bit about, we've talked a lot about anxiety. I want to talk about some ways that help each of us. But first, you combat anxiety in your day-to-day life.
Definitely going outside. If I don't do that, like I'm a mess, especially because a lot of the stuff that I do is on the computer. Yeah. And so I will spend so much time sitting and just like in my corner, or like if I can, I'll try and take my laptop and go to a coffee shop or something. Just being outside, and like especially like having my feet on something textured like grass, or like I'll go to the beach and like, stand in the waves. Yeah. So like definitely textured stuff. Okay. And going outside are like my main
interesting
things.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside is a huge one for me, definitely. Just, as someone also who's on the computer a lot, I need to, and introverted as we are, like you just get isolated, and you need that fresh air, and you need that sort of, just get your head out of the screen. It's very helpful for sure.
Yeah, I wish my dog could like carry me in a wagon or something, like, so I don't have to like move, but just let me go enjoy the breeze.
I'm
like,
sure there's certain breeds of dogs that can
not
make
mine.
that work.
She won't do it.
What other types of things that help you with anxiety?
Definitely focusing on my breathing, which like it also is a good I don't know if barometer is the right word.
Yeah.
Where like to tell like where I'm at mentally.
That's the right word.
Okay, cool. And yeah, like
You're 2 for 2.
Yes, I'm intelligent, I swear. And yeah, like if it's shallow or like where there's tension in my face or my back or something, like it's just, using my body as a barometer to like tell where I'm at and like hopefully
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's helped a lot.
Do you have you worked on or have you developed any insights into like understanding what your triggers are and potentially avoiding those?
Yeah, a lot of it is like not being prepared, just in general, social anxiety, like worrying about how people are going to like perceive things. I'm sure there's a lot. Like I know I have travel anxiety. Relaxing anxiety is a thing.
What's that?
Where you're afraid to relax.
Oh.
Like I didn't know. I just felt like I was weird.
Okay.
Because I'd be so afraid to like fall asleep or something. Like it's still something I'm struggling with. Because it feels like if I relax, then like everything I've been keeping at bay in the back of my head will come up and like just take over. I don't know.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what relaxing anxiety was.
Does that like impact your sleep?
Oh yeah. Like
Okay.
I toss and turn a lot. And it takes a long time for my mind to wind down. And sometimes I don't want to take that time to wind down. I just want to go straight to sleep. Like I'm just like screw everything, and then so it'll take me a while to fall asleep. But yeah, I never knew that had a name until like this year. So it exists.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine like there's a crossover there with people who have ADHD or something like that. Have trouble sitting still and just kind of being in rest mode. That.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Yeah, for me, when I'm feeling anxious, and anxiety for me feels like, and I was telling this with Rudy just yesterday, it feels like I'm processing all the things at once.
Oh,
and I'm thinking about all the things, and I'm worrying about what people think, and I'm worrying about what's going to happen, and I want to get all the things done. It's just like a state of overwhelm and just fervor that is gets to a point where I just like I'm rendered like useless. I like can't do anything.
Yep.
And what helps me is definitely being outside, definitely like talking about it more and more, and recognizing that people like yourself or others have it too, and millions of people have anxiety.
Yeah, it's like the most common disorder.
Yeah, and so that helps a little bit. Writing about it can be helpful.
Yeah, I feel like with that, it's very tricky. Like at least for me, where like there's a way to write about it, to vent about it, and then write about it to like if I write about it so much in a row, like if I'll journal about it for like a week straight, then it's more like I'm concentrating on it rather than like venting about it to like get it off my chest. So it's like there's that like thin line between the two.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, another thing is art therapy.
Oh yeah. How could we forget?
As you know. And then, my friend, oh shit. Gosh, I am losing all the names.
I'm the one that didn't sleep last night. Like, how am I remembering these all big words? Names,
but my friend who came on this episode or came on this show to talk about yoga and mindfulness, Jordana. Gosh, Jordana.
Got it.
I got it. She reminded me that just taking. I mean, we talked about breathing, but just taking a moment to breathe 3 times. Deep inhale, deep exhale 3 times. Like that has been a huge thing for me. Just sitting down, even just walking, and doing that, and just really focusing on those deep breaths is a big one. And I'm curious, like, I'm talking to you now, audience. I'm curious what helps your anxiety, because I'd imagine a lot of you listening have anxiety like Julie and I do, and I'd love to hear what helps you. Definitely let us know. I'd love to hear and get your tips and apply them to my life to make my life better.
Please help me.
Yes. So let's plug all your things, Julia.
Yes.
But before we do, let's talk empathy heroes. Do you remember this aspect of the show?
Yeah.
So I don't have one. Actually, I do have one teed up. Do you want me to go first?
I've completely forgot about this part.
No worries. Everyone does. So for the listeners, just as a reminder, this is the section of the show where the guest and I talk about an empathy hero. This is someone who is a good example of empathy and is someone who embraces empathy with their whole hearts. It could be someone we know personally. It could be someone from fiction. It could be an author we love. It could be anything. You know, Scooby was my empathy hero one week. So it could be our four-legged friends. My empathy hero this week is my friend Francie. Francie is the wife of Tony, of the famous Tony Time, as you listeners know. And she's just a delight and someone who we met within the last couple of years and really has made my and Jessica's life a lot better. Got Jessica and I out of the house more. You know, we go up to LA, you know, and she's just a very sweet and caring person. And I'm really grateful that she is in my life. So, Francie, you're my empathy hero this week. And you better be listening to this because I am speaking to you directly. Julia.
I know last time I said my friend Elizabeth. And I think I'll still have to like stick with that because she's somebody that I can go to and that like she'll be there for me in a way that like it's not just black and white, like here's what you need to go to do to like fix your stuff. It's like because we're both we've kind of she's like the one friendship that I could think of right now where it's like I could see the progression of like how we've grown like in the same way, like together, like parallel. And that's so nice. It's been like interesting, especially since like I've struggled with, you know, close relationships of any kind. So when I go to her for advice, it's like, it just feels more broad and like, I don't know how to explain it. Like she
covers all the things for you.
Yeah. It's like she focuses on like the big picture aspect of things.
That's nice.
Yeah, like I guess in a spiritual kind of way. And so it doesn't feel so like doom and gloom. And so, it's just, it helps.
She's got
a lot.
it sounds like she's got like a healthy perspective on life and things and one that's patient and compassionate.
Yeah, exactly. And like she's gone through a lot and like, I don't even know how she's gone through some of the stuff she's been through, but like, yeah, like it's like everything she's been through has aided in like her now mindset, and it's like I can tell, and so she's just really comforting to go to.
Nice.
So I appreciate that.
I would love to meet her someday.
Yeah, no, you should 100% like have her on.
I would love to.
I will text her.
Okay, yeah. So remind the listeners where they can connect with How Am I Feeling?
We have a website at howamifeeling.org. On Instagram, How Am I Feeling, with an extra G at the end. And then Facebook. Yeah. Facebook is just How Am I Feeling, regularly spelled.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being a guest on You Me Empathy, Julia, and coming into this great recording space with me.
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. And to you listeners, I'm here, you're here. We're here together on this wayward, overwhelming, awe-inspiring pale blue dot. We have each other. It's You Me Empathy.